Welcome to the StarPlan podcast. I'm Michael, and today we have a very special guest, David Fletcher Ly, and director and principal consultant at Infotech People, and an experienced keynote speaker. And David, it's fantastic to have you here today with us.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Michael. So I've been in IT recruitment for about 20 years now, 10 years running Infotech People. We recruit across AI, automation, and robotics, and have been doing so for the better part of 7 years. Now the business has evolved a little bit into consulting robotics for critical infrastructure. I'm also advisory on a few AI ventures, and I am a father, a new father.
A new father.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With the big picture, how has tech talent recruitment changed over the past few years?
I think at its core, tech recruitment hasn't really changed in the terms of the basics. So the client still needs the best candidate, and candidates still need to find their jobs. But it's more the technology that has improved, I guess, the productivity and the process in terms of making candidates more accessible to companies, automating a lot of the outreach, finding candidates, providing lists of candidates, suitable candidates. And in terms of like dictation, like we use it a lot in the business where we're interviewing for candidates, and I don't need to bring a notepad and a pen into the interview anymore. I can just use an AI tool to dictate the interview.
Yeah, so it's essentially the basic never changes, right? And so which tech roles or skills are most in demand right now?
Excuse me. I would say the best way to look at it is probably skills shortages in Australia. So I would say
compared with the US.
Yeah. I can't really speak on the US and globally. I don't have data on that.
Just your perspectives in Australia.
Yeah. So in Australia, the most critical sectors are healthcare and IT. And I would say in IT and technology, data science, software engineering, and cybersecurity.
All right. And what emerging skills or roles do you see becoming critical in probably next 2 to 3 years?
2 to 3 years.
Or just say at present.
So yeah, I can answer the first question. So 2 to 3 years, I would say. So how I like to do it is more evidence based. So what's the evidence that that we have at hand? Because 2 or 3 years back, if we go back, everyone was saying there's going to be a job apocalypse. Everyone's going to lose their jobs, and to a certain extent, we have lost some jobs. Whether that's attributed directly to AI is arguable. But I feel that it's not going to be as bad as people think. It's really, AI is just really making people more productive and making companies more productive. And the people that lose their jobs are just going to filter into other jobs. So, it's going to shift somewhat. But people are still going to be employed.
I see. And what are the biggest challenges companies face when hiring high-tech people?
Challenges companies face when hiring high-tech people. I think one is companies that have niche requirements. To give you an idea, we work with a lot of companies in defense that have a laundry list of requirements that they need to fill. For instance, they must be not listed or not be from a country of birth that's listed on the ITAR list, which immediately erases all the Iranians, Chinese, Russian, a lot of the good companies with good AI talent.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge. Trying to get through the laundry list, they must have C++, multi-threading, embedded low-level experience, must have a defense NV1 clearance.
I see.
So when they have the longer the laundry list, the harder obviously it is to access talent.
All right. And how has remote and hybrid work changed the recruitment landscape, do you think, like this mode at the age of AI?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. How has it changed the landscape in relation to AI?
Yeah, in relation to AI
Okay.
and the business model.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Um, the first thing that comes to mind is really cybersecurity and security, because people are transitioning more to work from home. Security elements around that. And the governance and setting in, proper security measures, for data and
Yep.
whatnot, which is why more cybersecurity roles are going to be in demand, and that's well into the future. I would say also it in terms of interviewing and meetings and synergies within the business. Back in the day, you could build a lot of team camaraderie on people in the office.
Yeah.
You can have conversations around the water cooler, whereas these days we're a little bit more isolated through this.
Yes.
Which, from a recruitment perspective, or from my perspective, this puts more of an impetus on communication and being able to communicate more effectively. If you're not in the office all the time, speaking to your colleagues, presenting in meetings, you kind of lose that a little bit. So maybe refining that skill would be helpful for people looking for jobs.
Yep. So shifting focus to the recruiter's perspective, what do you think that separates strong tech candidates from average ones, in your experience?
Yeah, this is a broad question, and I like to really give advice to specific situations.
Yeah.
But I will answer your question in a roundabout way.
Yeah. Let's probably just dive into what signal do you look for first when reviewing a tech candidate's profile?
Okay, yeah. So reviewing the profile, if I get a CV that's come through, what I'm looking for, honestly speaking, because there's only so much you can ascertain from the CV, so I'll be able to determine whether or not they're a fit for the role, and if they're worth putting to the next round within the first 10 to 30 seconds.
Do you have any screening questions in your mind when you're reviewing the profile?
No, not at that point. At that point, I'm just looking for key things. If they can, the way that they've worded their CV, is their CV a glorified position description, or are they showing major achievements that could add value to the business? Keywords as well. And I think a lot of HR and recruiters and even AI bots that are screening CVs are using keywords.
Could you explain a little bit more about keywords? What kind of keywords are you looking for?
Yeah, for instance, if we're looking for a C++ software engineer, we're looking for C++ lathered through the CV. If they don't have C++ in the CV, either they've forgotten to put it in, which is a little bit negligent, or they don't have C++ experience.
I see. And what kind of skills do you think is getting critical for an AI engineer?
Critical, yeah.
Yeah, or in other words, are you doing recruitment for AI engineers or AI talents?
Yeah, it's interesting because, and let me step back. So we've been working in AI, automation, and robotics for the better part of 7-ish years. And really, only in the past 3 years has AI been in vogue and sexy, and everyone wants to get into AI. But we were doing work with defense back then for machine learning engineers, computer vision guys, and data scientists. And that AI has been around for a while, but in a different capacity. So what the general public perceives AI is ChatGPT, Claude, and these sorts of Gemini, these sorts of tools. But me from a recruitment perspective and from adding value to our clients, the roles are a little bit different. So we would be having software engineering with an AI sort of connotation to it. Converting old C++ computer vision algorithms to modern, to Rust, potentially. So AI engineers and prompt engineers, yeah, we do get a little bit of that work, and we are seeing it. But our bread and butter, and I can just speak for myself and our company Purview, is more so, based on like engineering and more of the older technologies that have been around for a while, and not like the prompt stuff, ChatGPT stuff and whatnot. Yeah.
So would you wish more candidates understood about the recruitment process?
That's a great question. That's a really good question, actually, because a lot of candidates and especially grads, and it's not their fault as well. Yeah, not really their fault, because it is a little bit of a interesting industry, and especially even what we do as recruiters. Candidates think that we can find them jobs, or we're a job agency.
Job agency.
Yeah, but really we're recruiters. Let me just paint out that there's a delineation or a difference between job agency and IT or recruitment. So job agency is that they're there to find you a job, and that can be any job, because they're remunerated by the government to find you a job, to get you off unemployment benefits. Whereas we're a recruitment agency, so our motivation is to fulfill roles for our clients. Because they're the ones that pay the invoice. So, although I'd love to help my friends and cousins out at the barbecue who, are good at Instagram and posting on Instagram and want me to get them an IT job, unfortunately, I need to find the best candidate for my client, because they pay the bill.
So they have to be very talented.
Yeah, very talented, or specific to the role. Yeah, specific to the role, the company. Yeah.
And how important do you think, like, portfolios, GitHub repositories, or personal projects compared to resumes?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, even following on from what I mentioned in regards to recruitment companies. So for a grad, I mentioned all these things, and grads are probably thinking, how do I get a job then? Because I'm not really specialized. I don't really have all these attributes you're looking for. And I would say, the portfolio helps, and that separates the good candidates from the mediocre ones.
The average ones.
Yeah, the ones that are doing like personal projects in their spare time, the ones that are actually active in meetup groups. They might have a YouTube page where they're giving tutorials on how to code. Those are the ones that are doing the extracurricular and live and breathe what they do. That separates them from the rest.
I see.
So long story short, it helps to have a repository or GitHub and whatnot.
Would you like to give a weighted score for each of these? So portfolios, GitHub repositories, personal projects, and also skills, experience, education.
Weighted score. So what are we scoring out? 1 to 10?
Yeah, let's do 1 to 10. Yeah.
Okay. So trumps. So experience always trumps academia. And personal projects. But personal projects is sort of in experience, because you're getting experience there, and it shows initiative, especially if you're doing it for free or not getting paid for it. So experience, I would say 9, 10.
9, 10. Yeah.
GitHub and repositories, I would say 6.5, 7. 6.5, 7. It's great, but it's not. So if I have two candidates like for like, both have similar experiences, both studied at good unis, got good scores. If one has a repository, that might be the deciding factor, and we'll go with them. But if they don't have as much experience as this guy doesn't have a repository, but this guy does, then I'm still going with this guy.
What about education and skills? Because these are two, I think, most important parts in one resume.
I would say, and this is a little bit controversial, education and skills not so much these days. Not so much. I mean, if one has a Udemy AI course background and the other one studied at Melbourne Uni and got good grades, then clearly the Melbourne Uni guy is going to have a leg up, and potentially have an advantage. But it also depends on the company that's hiring and who you're going for. Like if you're going for one of the big four or a big consulting firm, then they're going to look at, they're a little bit more traditional. They're going to look at, what uni you went to, your scores and whatnot. But if you're excited about, getting involved in innovative, deep tech startups, I think they put a little bit less importance on that. Not outrule it completely, but it holds a little bit less weighting.
Yeah.
And I would say if you've maybe not studied at Melbourne Uni, maybe you've done a TAFE course, but your portfolio is epic, and you can tell, wow, this guy's done some really cool stuff. He chairs a meetup group within Rust. He lives and breathes the stuff. Then I would say that outweighs the top scoring academia candidate.
What kind of experience do you think would be the best fit for the companies you are going for?
So the clients we work with?
Yeah, the clients we work with.
So we work across a range of industries, so critical infrastructure, intralogistics, defense, healthcare, but from a technology perspective, so not like on the ground accountants and accounts receivable and whatnot, but from a technology perspective. So our clients, because they need to pay us a fee, because we're a recruitment company, not a job agency, we need to find so because they pay us a fee, it needs to be worthwhile for them to justify paying us a fee. Excuse me. So it needs to be a role that they're struggling to fill, which normally means that they have a laundry list of requirements. Must have outstanding communication skills, must have worked in the defense industry or healthcare industry, or a health tech company, on a certain product. So there are a lot more niche requirements, which comes down to the role being harder to fill.
So that's so-called job description. Provided by the companies you're working with.
Yeah. So the job description comes down to a lot more, because why would they pay us a fee if they can just put up an ad themselves and fight? To give you an idea, one of our healthcare clients, and this is another reason why they engage us as well. One of our healthcare clients, they actually they put up an ad themselves, looking for someone for an IT support role. This was a low-level IT support role, level 1, level 2. They had 200 applicants for the role. 200. And the GM of IT, who I have a working relationship for over 10 years now, he was like, David, look, I can't be stuffed going through all these candidates, and they tried to interview 3 or 4. And for him, communication is really key, because especially in a support role, you need to be able to convert technical terms into layman's terms for not only nurses and on-the-ground staff, but then up the chain to CEOs, who see
level 2, level 3, level 4.
Yeah. So if they're providing support to a CEO, the conversation or the speaking style can't be the same as if you're talking to a nurse, because the CEO, it's time is money. They're looking at the overall picture. To give you an example, there was a candidate in the interview who gave an example when he was talking to a CEO. One of the mistakes he made was he assumed what the problem was that the CEO was having, and then the CEO in his mind is breaking it down. Okay, so who was responsible for organizing that process? Because he's thinking, where are we going wrong, down the chain? It's
not my responsibility to do that.
Oh yeah. So more so that he's looking at from an overall, overarching perspective, and how we can improve that process, rather than But if he had stepped back and said, look, I'm not sure what the problem is, but let me find out, then it would have been more accurate to the point. He knows exactly what it is, and he could have solved the problem that way. Would you like different communication style, I guess. Yeah.
Would you like to give a couple of advice for candidates? So what should tech candidates do to stand out in an AI-enhanced hiring environment?
Stand out. I think now, because the competition is raising,
Yep.
AI is making everyone more productive.
It's like a rat race.
It is a rat race. It's always been a
It's
rat
always
race, but even now more so a rat race. Everyone is, fighting for the crumbs and trying to get in there. So back to the last question. We put up an ad for it as well, and we got 500 candidates.
Oh, really? That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, and that's for a support role. And obviously we have processes in place, and recruiting is what we do full time. So we're able to kind of sort through the weeds. But for a company, it's gonna take a lot of time. But going back to your question, how they can stand out in the rat race is really doing the little things or the extra things, like in your CV. Not just having one CV and sending it out to 50 different roles.
Oh, do separate ones.
Yeah, customize it
Customize.
to the role. So if you, let's use the C++ example again, software engineer. If you know the role requires C++ and Python, and it's within the healthcare sector, lather that in your CV. If you have that experience, put C++ in your CV, 30 times if you need to, because the AI bot with some of the bigger companies that is filtering it will pick up how many times you've put it in your CV.
Yeah.
Similarly to if it's a person, like one of my girls who's screening the CV, she'll put keyword search, C++, and if it highlights all throughout the CV, it's like, okay, it may not get you the job, but it'll get you an opportunity to have a discussion.
All right. And how should candidates use AI to prepare for interviews or assessments, or even to generate a decent CV?
So on the first part of the question, using AI to prepare for interviews and for jobs, it's interesting because data came out recently from Google that the first page of Google is the companies advertising on the first page are down 78% on clicks. So everyone's using ChatGPT now to do searches, which is amazing, and a lot of the traffic is moving there. So if you've got a resource, powerful resource like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, whatever you're using, utilize that to get up-to-date current information on the company, what they do, articles that they've released, their LinkedIn profile, who the direct hiring managers are, what their backgrounds are. If they've worked at a company where someone that's worked there as well, chase up them and see how they operate, see how they like to manage. Just use all the tools at your disposal to gather information and research.
And on the perspective of employers, what common hiring mistakes should they avoid? Because there are some AI bias and unbiased, and how should they avoid this kind of problems?
Yeah, common hiring mistakes. Let me have a think about that one. Just trying to think back to real world examples that I've come across.
Can provide an example of that?
Yeah, okay. So I have one recently, and I may be sharing a little bit too much information, but I'm going to keep the company and the details confidential. And looking back now in retrospect, and me and the CEO agree, like there were some red flags in the hiring. But to set the context and the example, so we had a client sub 30. So they're a small employee managed services company, sub 30 staff, and they were looking for a BDM, business development manager. We had a certain budget in mind, and we went to market and did the search. Took us about 1 month. Came up with a good shortlist. Interviewed some candidates, but there was one candidate that was really good that we were thinking, okay, this guy shows a lot of promise. The only thing and the only sticking factor was he was wanting a salary that was about 20-25% above what we were able to afford. we saw enough potential in him to have back and forth conversation about it. And then we tried to think outside of the square a little bit and try and position it so if you hit key metrics, that 20% we'll put in sort of like a to the side. But if you hit key metrics within the first 3 months, then we can that will be released, and you'll be able to hit your salary expectations, and we'll be able to bring you on board, and you'll be a proven entity. Happy days. So the issue there. So long story short, we came down to just a couple of weeks ago, and the guy, for whatever reason, hadn't hit the metrics or was nowhere near there. Could be market factors, and I don't want to completely blame him because sometimes things don't turn out as they seem. But because we had brought him on, and because he set the expectation so high, now because the company's wanting to outlay a certain amount or having to outlay a certain amount of money, the expectation now raises 20-25% with what he's demanding above his salary. So now he has to not only hit that bar, but kind of go past that. And if you don't even get close to that, then it's a big letdown. So the hiring mistake there was, maybe looking back in retrospect, we should have identified that if they're making demands like up front like that, then there's some red flags there, and more so next time we will be more aiming at candidates within that price range, and also negotiating it a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Would you like to list the top 3 red flags?
Think about that. That's a really, really good question. I like that one. Okay, that's 2.
2 would also be fine.
Okay, so top 2, yeah,
Top
for the
2.
sake of the podcast and not thinking about it all day, and keeping it moving. So the top one I would say is attitude. So a lot of times when we're dealing, as I mentioned, with candidates who are normally in jobs that have a specific skill set, or are perfect for the job, and we approach them, because they're not looking to move, they're comfortable in the job, they come with a certain approach where, oh, you need me, I don't need you, type thing. And then when it turns out they actually need the job, because their attitude is like that, they go into the interview with the mindset, oh, you need me, and I don't need you, which is detrimental, because you want to go into an interview with the mindset of, look, I'm here to serve, I'm here to help your company. Obviously, I get something in return as well, because I get paid, I get to work in a great environment, I get to do what I love. But you also want to go in humble and really curious, and seeing how much value you can bring to the table. That's the best mindset to have when you're going into these interviews. But yeah, red flags are, sometimes when we're interviewing, we can pick up they're a little bit overly confident. Oh yeah, I could do that job easily. I'm perfect for that role, But then they find out, pretty quickly that companies don't like that.
Yeah, so recruiters always expect the candidates to ask questions about a company to show their attitude.
Be curious, not be overly confident. Like, you can be confident, that's fine, and you should definitely be confident in what you do. But yeah, be curious, like want to find out more about the company, the role, how I can add value, how my skills will be utilized, how this company will grow my skill set as well. Because when I add value, I want the company to grow, revenue to increase with the company, which will then in turn grow me as well as a professional.
What about a second red flag?
Second red flag is, I would say, candidates not getting. No, actually, I've got 3 now. I've got 3 now. Yeah, I've got 3 now. So the second red flag I would say is not being responsive.
Not being responsive.
Yeah, because it shows, especially if you're wanting to show interest in the role and this is the role that you want to be responsive and, if you get a missed call, don't take too long to get back. Like, don't let it wait a day and then call them the next day. If you can, try and call them. If you miss them, leave a message. So responsiveness is very key because it shows your motivation to accept the role and your motivation to want to work for the company. Because I've had a lot of candidates who go cold, first round interview, and then like I try to reach them up for feedback. And I understand stuff happens, life happens, but you always want to be keeping in touch with the company or your recruiter.
All right, that was really insightful.
Oh, sorry, and the second and the third one, and the third one.
It's really important. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now that I'm saying the third one, I've forgotten it. We'll come back to it.
All right, so let's talk AI in recruitment. How is AI currently being used in recruitment workflows?
Yeah, so
are you using ChatGPT or Gemini, Claude in your daily work?
I think you'd be silly not to be using it, right? Like, it's a PhD in your pocket. So
take advantage of this.
Yes, definitely. In some sort of capacity, especially as a smaller company with us, sub 5 employees, you want to be utilizing technology and every advantage that you can get. How we're using it. So 6 months ago, we started using automation and AI in the company for candidate campaigns and reaching out to candidates.
Marketing strategy.
Marketing strategy on the I guess you could say marketing to candidates as well. So on both sides, marketing roles that we have, keeping them up to date. Let's say, for instance, robotics technicians, mapping out the whole market of robotics technicians, and letting them know that we have a role with a big robotics company. What are your movements like? So before we had to actually individually call them or reach out via LinkedIn. I had to get the girls to manually do it. But now we can do it. We can automate that and do it overnight. It's still working. It's still reaching out. So that's improved our productivity tremendously. As well as on the on the client side, we can now reach out to clients who are looking for staff.
Yep.
And reach out to them with emails and automate that side as well.
So we're building an AI-powered recruitment system for guys like you. And what kind of workflows would you like us to build or integrate AI power in our system to save your time?
Okay, can you give me a bit more of an idea of what you're doing with the AI system?
So ranking is our mode. So let's say if you have 100 candidates going to our platform, we'll do a ranking based on the job description provided by the business, provided by the company. And let's say top 10 would be the best candidates for this company. And we will send them through the company. And the companies will be able to just directly invite these people through sending email. Yep. That's basically the technology we're using at the moment.
I think that could be a very powerful tool, actually, coming to think about it. We would be able to utilize that when it's refined.
Yep.
The thing is, it is...
In which way would you want to refine this?
Yeah, because to give you an example, if we have a niche requirement, so the communication skills, if you can analyze the communication skills through the CV and pick up grammar, certain ways of putting together the words, because a lot of the times our clients are looking, the communication skills is so integral, and this is gonna be even more important going into the future as AI becomes more prominent. Someone who can translate technical terms into layman's terms for the business. It's probably one of the number one skills I would say is communication. And if the better it can rank on communication or on that skill, I mean, the more powerful it will be.
Has AI improved the speed or quality of technical hiring?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. Yeah, I think it has for us in terms of finding suitable
Yeah.
candidates. We still need human intervention and need to be able to interview them face to face, and yeah, we still need to intervene. But in terms of bringing candidates to the table, yes,
Yes.
definitely.
So how would you guarantee the quality? By interviewing these candidates?
Yeah, exactly. By interviewing, seeing them face to face,
Seeing face to face to
drilling into their CV experience, your BS meter, have they just glorified their CV or have they actually
That's
done the
to see
project?
if they have the attitude. One of the red flags you just mentioned.
Yeah, attitude. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
key.
And what misconceptions do people have about AI-driven recruitment?
Misconception they have about AI driven recruitment. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about their misconceptions. I can speak for maybe.
So maybe probably in terms of AI bias.
Yeah, okay. AI biases. In terms of screening,
Yeah, in terms of screening.
yeah. So I heard. So I don't know the exact data, but I heard from a trusted friend who's in recruitment as well that a big company had or piloted a screening software, but they canned it because it had a bias towards females. Must have been a male AI. I joked with him, but I yeah. So I don't know if we're there yet in terms of that, but it's only a matter of time before we refine it, get it better. It learns. It's AI, so it's learning and it's getting better. Yeah, I don't know if that's a misconception, but that's what I'm experiencing.
Alright.
Yeah.
So I've got one more question. What parts of the recruitment process still require human judgment?
So actually picking the candidate, I believe, and that's
Picking
why
the
I think
candidates.
the person will always be required, as in terms of. So I believe if you're to present the candidates like and do a rating score, I think that's great. And what you're doing could remove the recruiter to a certain extent, and you'll have an audience there. You definitely will. Some companies and some startups will want to just do the picking themselves. We just want to, we know what we want. We provide us with a shortlist, rank it, and then from there we'll decide if the ranking's correct. But from my perspective, I think there's a lot more, or there's always going to be a stage in between there. So, if we were to take your list of ranking, one, we can discern if the ranking is correct. Two, we have a BS meter. We can really, because a CV is only telling you so much, maybe 20% of the story, but actually sitting down, eyeballing the person, doing an interview with them, really finding out how they think. Like I like to ask the question in an interview that,
What kind of questions?
yeah, like an interesting question that is a little bit off the beaten path that I like to ask is, if you had a time machine, would you travel to the past or would you travel to the future?
What kind of answer would you expect on the candidate?
I have no expectation, but I want to see how they think, and I want to see how how their brain works, and are they thinking, oh, I want to go to the past because I want to make, I want to bet on horses, I want to get an almanac and find out which horses win, and then come to the present and then become a billionaire. Yeah, are they thinking like that, or are they thinking, oh, I want to go back and see if Jesus walked the earth. I want to see, did he rise from the dead? Like, it just opens them up because interviews can be a bit stagnated, like question answer. But finding their personality and what drives them will not only retain them long term, but also you're working with this person on a day-to-day basis. You really want to find out about them.
So as a senior recruiter, how would you answer the questions you just asked?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What would you do back in 2 or 3 years ago?
Sorry. Can you repeat that question?
If you have a time machine, what would you do if it takes you back to 2 or 3 years ago?
So can I come back to the present, or do I have to stay in the past?
You can come back to the present. Yeah.
I can come back to the present. Yeah. Okay. So for me, 2 or 3 years ago, what are we now? 2025. When was COVID?
2019. 2019.
It was about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
5-6 years ago. Okay. So we missed COVID, unfortunately, or fortunately. I'm just trying to think of that period and what was happening there. Okay, so 2 or 3 years ago, ChatGPT was just coming out. That's when we really got introduced to it. Still hallucinating massively.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would do, I'm just trying to think macroeconomically as well as geopolitically. Yes, we were coming off COVID, so a lot of, there was a shift global supply chain wise. So I'm thinking from a business mindset because I'm a business owner.
You want to be a billionaire.
I do, but I want to be a billionaire that is good, a good billionaire. Yeah, I'm not sure if a lot of our tech billionaires these days are really have the human interests at heart, like Palantir CEO, Musk, Zucks, all these guys. I don't really know if they have our best interests at heart. So I would do something in terms of, growing. So the supply chain coming out of COVID was a big thing. It was really disrupted because a lot was reliant on China at that time, and that was shut down. So I would go into emerging markets, India and Vietnam, and set up supply chains there, build relationships. Also get onto ChatGPT early, create some good AI tools, maybe a StarPlan like back then as well. So by the time we get to this time, it's really refined and it's kicking goals, and it's not one of the pilots that's failed. It's really established. I would also do a lot of philanthropic work, or look into places that really need philanthropic work and try and do it a little bit earlier. Because I think with AI, it's important that we have a good moral compass.
Yep.
Because like a lot of things, like it's a tool.
Yeah, and this is also something that the governors are also regulating on AI.
Yeah, and especially in Australia, we're not. We lag technology wise, but also, it's a lot of an unknown space at the moment. AI and
compared with the US and China.
Oh, lagging massively. Yeah. In terms of budget, I think the government allocated 30 million budget to AI, and that's like a drop in the ocean for China or the US. It's
and the market is also extraordinarily small.
Yes, and if there is a seed company or a company that has a great idea, they're moving to China or Silicon Valley to get funding and becoming a great company over there and not staying in Australia, which is a problem. So yeah, the government and in terms of Australia and bolstering AI here, the government. Yeah, needs to be a bit more aware of, if they have another Meta, if another Meta is created in Australia, how that will bolster the economy here and how much better it will be for everyone. The people will be the beneficiary of it. The economy here will be the beneficiary of it. So, yeah, I can't remember. What was your question? We've gone off on a bit of a tangent.
If you have a time machine and you can get back to the present, and what would you do if you get back to the stage about 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, so long story short, I would go back and do everything that would allow me
and do AI stuff,
So yeah. Long story short, if I'm to condense it, go back 2-3 years ago and do everything that would make me a god now.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, just set it up for set it up for these days to be more efficient in Australia, and so the people of Australia and us can benefit better from AI advancement.
Would you also like to glorify Vietnam instead of Australia? That's your homeland, I guess.
Uh, It is my homeland, but I do have an allegiance to Australia because this is the country that's given me opportunity. And I'm not biased towards a particular country or race, even Australia. I think at the end of the day, people are people. I like to work with good people who have good hearts, who are smart, intelligent, and doing cool things. So whether that's Vietnamese, Australia, China, Iran, it doesn't matter to me.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to glorify just because it's my homeland or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Time's a bit tight, and I think it's the end of the podcast. And David, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. And it's been incredibly valuable to hear from your perspective on tech, talent, AI, recruitment system. And I'm sure our listeners will take away a lot of practical advice from this conversation.
Awesome.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you for
So
having me.
much.